Our viewers told us which board games they've been playing and why, and we've picked out a bunch to share with you. There's some old favourites, a dash of the newest hotness, and several surprises in this month's People's Choice selections. And up first is Altered. Altered is pitched as an innovative trading card game which offers a new, refreshing approach to both competitive and casual players. It's all set in a universe of rich lore and visual design influenced by Studio Ghibli and Dixit-like illustrations. And it's all about exploring a new, reshaped Earth after a mysterious event. The Confluence profoundly altered it. Altered. In this two-player game, you're both trying to get your characters to meet in the middle of a central terrain. And you do this by winning a series of battles, expeditions on two battle fronts. Science places. The game calls these expeditions, and you're playing cards with a huge variety of effects to hopefully exert the most stats in 3 types of land, allowing you to make progress. Viewer Vincent V says a dueling TCG game that isn't about destroying your opponent is fun to play. More so, there is a tactical element to deciding who to advance, who will not, or both. And it's not just Vincent V who's excited about this game, because it was available on Board Game Arena to play, which I did quite a lot. And I tell you what, Altered is fun. Did I think about backing the Kickstarter of like €5,000 and then selling all the booster boxes to make a profit? I considered it, then I realised that's just insane. But there is cool. Vincent V also goes on to describe how there's a reserve. Essentially, the cards that you play, some of them go into reserve, so half of your hand is open, information, and half of your hand is secret and mysterious. And it's really cool because you're moving forward in a way that is just not... It does all the same TCG things, but in a way that feels very different. And for that, I'm excited for the future of Altered. But before the next game, here is a message from the sponsor who, in part, helped make this episode possible.
Dig this. The pulp adventure board game, Fortune and Glory from Flying Frog, is back with a brand new revised edition. This has a compact box so it fits on your shelf, a streamlined rulebook so it fits in your brain, and over a decade's worth of polish and errata all baked right in. This is the ultimate edition of Fortune and Glory, the cliffhanger game, a fast-paced game of high adventure, vile villains, edge-of-your-seat danger, and 1930s pulp movie action taking place as you travel the globe in search of ancient artifacts, fending off danger and villains at every single turn. So strap on your boots and fire up the engines on the old seaplane, because the race for Fortune and Glory is back, and there's no prize for second place. Find this new edition at your friendly local game store on April 18th, or follow the link in this video's description to order it directly right now from Flying Frog.
With little to no training, I am 1000% confident that I, Matthew Jude, can land safely a commercial airliner. I even think I could do it with, let's face it, a little pizzazz. And that's exactly what SkyTeam is all about. SkyTeam is a cooperative game exclusively for 2 players in which you play as a pilot and co-pilot at the controls of the plane. Your goal is to work together as a team to land your flight in different airports around the world. To land your plane, you need to silently assign your dice to the correct spaces in your cockpit to balance the axis of your plane, control its speed, deploy its flaps, extend the landing gear, contact the towers below to clear the path, and you even have to a little coffee to improve your concentration enough to change the value of your dice. It's stressful, because if the aircraft tilts too much and stalls, overshoots the airport, or collides with another aircraft, unsurprisingly, you lose the game, and your pilot's license, and probably your life. Amanda says they're always looking for great 2-player games for their husband and them to play, and thought that this checked all the boxes. The theme was really well executed, the gameplay was challenging but interesting, and it kept them on the edge of their seat until the very end. And they can't wait to play again with all the extra variations. Actually, about those variations, there's a lot in the SkyTeam box. You get like a whole manual of, hey, now you've landed the plane safely, finally, for the first time. Here's ways that are much harder to do it. There's like weather and all manner of stuff going on. I do think that SkyTeam has going for it the fact that it's a small box with loads of replayability, and it feels very unique as a game. And I really think that has helped SkyTeam propel, you genius, forward. The 2 to 4 player Stefan Feld re-implementation of Bora Bora is next, and that's Cusco, not the other very popular game called Cusco. This is Cusco. As Chatsky, you deliver important information by order of the Sapa Inca, the ruler of the Inca Empire, from the capital of Cusco to its villages spread across the empire. You study at the University of Cusco to increase your status and operate many blooming farms. Religion also plays an important role, and therefore you send priests to the temple and collect offerings to win favour with the gods and garner their support. Players use dice to perform a variety of actions, and the heart of the game is an action resolution system in which 5 to 7 actions are available each round, the exact number depending on the amount of players, and each player rolls 3 dice at the start of the round, then they take turns placing 1 dice at a time on an action. Tej L says that I love Fell's designs. There's great strife element in Cusco where you try to compete on all fronts, but you must figure out what to let go of so you can specialise too, because without specialisation you won't earn the big endgame bonuses. So the tug of war between generalisation to the block opponents from point monopolies and specialising for endgame rewards makes for an awesome experience. You know, the game that this is based on, Bora Bora, has been on my shelf for about 4 years, unplayed. I've learnt the rules to this game multiple times. I packed it in my bag, had it ready to go. Let's play, but no, okay, we'll play something else then. Why? I just desperately want to get my version of Bora Bora played. Then I'll think about the new re-implementation. Micro Architects is next, and it's a 1 to 4 player city building game where you play as a city architect. Your aim is to plan your layout of your city, build landmarks, provide services, manage residents, and deal with random events that affect your city. Over 3 rounds, you'll be picking buildings to place in your city to try to create patterns based on goal cards, as well as picking landmarks, trying to fulfill its requirements. After filling up the whole district with buildings, you gain a boat, and 2 boats let you acquire services from your city, which will make them more attractive to residents. And after a round is complete, you score points in 3 ways: for goals, landmarks, and services, all in the right configuration. But there's also the residence module, which adds residents to score additional points in more advanced ways, as well as an event module that unsurprisingly does add events. Stephen says that this implementation of Skyline Express, which is the game it's based on, is a ton of game in a small box. Playing the residence module is a must, the game is great at all player counts, even solo. I did quite a lot of research on this game because I saw it and I was like, oh, this looks cool. And then I was like, oh, you're putting all your things in and you got like little indented things on you. The way that scores looks interesting. I want this game, is how I ended my research. It looks fun. It's a lot of pattern building to get points, which is things we've seen done before, but it's a tiny box that's meant to offer an incredible amount of game. I'm hoping that I can get this game and then I can get rid of a bunch of other games. And this can take the place of that pattern configuration, point scoring, city building type of game, which is something I really love. There's a bit of a classic next with Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detectives, The Thames Murders and Other Cases. That is a long name. Have you ever had the desire to walk the streets of Victorian London with Sherlock Holmes in search of Professor Moriarty? To search the docks for a giant rat of Sumatra? To walk up Baker Street as the fog is rolling in and hear Holmes himself cry out, "Come, Watson, come! And the game is afoot!" No, neither have I. But now you can. You can enter the opium den beneath a bar of gold. But beware, that may be Colonel Sebastian Moran lurking around the corner. You can capture the mystery and excitement of Holmes London in this changing, informative game. Because in Sherlock Holmes' Consulting Detective, you are presented with a mystery to solve. And it's then up to you to trace the threads of evidence through the byways and mansions of 19th century London. You will interview suspects, search the newspapers for clues, and put together the facts to reach a solution. Mark W. says, the investment of reading aloud and copious note-taking for hours isn't for everyone. He is correct. Nor is the superhuman speed with which Sherlock Holmes solves these cases. Common wisdom, he says, is to ignore the pseudo-race with him and just enjoy the experience. But as a superb execution of thematic intent, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective is unparalleled. You'll feel like Sherlock, or at least his less intelligent but enthusiastic sibling. Look, I'm not going to pretend that Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective is a game for me. But I do know people who have enjoyed this game. And they do say that Sherlock Holmes himself in the game is a bit cocky about it and ignoring that race with him. But as far as the actual thread of a mystery and working out and sitting quietly almost and solving a case, there's meant to be a real beautiful, deep story and mystery to solve here that other games have just never quite achieved. And that seems like a wonderful experience to have if that's the type of game that you like. So there's lots of this game to explore. Next up is the game Medium, where players act as psychic mediums, harnessing their powerful extrasensory abilities to access other players' thoughts. Together in pairs, they mentally determine the medium, the word that connects the words on their 2 cards, and then attempt to say the same word at the same time. 2 cards, 2 thoughts, 1 mind is the tagline for this game. Samantha P says, I picked Medium up on a whim while at my friendly local gaming store, and it was an instant hit, super easy to teach and absolutely hilarious to play. It's a great game regardless of whether you are able to match words or fail miserably. It's honestly way funnier when you fail. You'll learn a lot about your friends' minds based on what they pick for word association, for better or for worse. Medium at its core really is a classic word association game, like an improv game or a game that you play on long card journeys that's been boxed up and sold. I mean, and that's fine by me. It's a beautiful production, and it's just, the cards and the art is lovely, and there's all these different topics to different words to pick from. But it's a very simple game that you don't really even need to own a game for, but you just have to pick 2 words. But Medium as a packet, as a product, just helps facilitate people, everyone, play that game. And it's a classic for a reason, because people have been playing it for a very, very long time. And you do get very frustrated and often bewildered at the choice that your friends make. And you think it's so obviously goose. Goose is the middle word here. Your word is flight. My word is angry. It's goose. Come on. Goose. And now, a message from the second sponsor who in part helped make this episode possible.
Septima from Mind Clash is a competitive, highly interactive strategy game of planning, cunning, and witchcraft. As the leader of a coven, strive to overcome your rivals to become the worthy successor of Septima, the High Witch. As you play through 4 seasons, each consisting of 5 rounds, you'll gather a powerful coven of witches and gain enough wisdom points to become the worthy successor. Practice your craft in the superstitious town of Nuktenberg. Gather ingredients, brew powerful potions, perform rituals, heal the afflicted, and work in the shadows, like this, to turn suspicion and anger into support and acceptance. Septima is an invitation to a rich world of mechanisms that satisfy both Eurogamers and thematic game enthusiasts. The rules are easy to understand and thematic, while also providing great tactical and strategic depth. So follow the link in this video's description, if you can find it, to get Septima online or at your friendly local game store.
Talking about geese, the next game is about a ferret. It's called Ferret Out. It's the 3 to 7 player deduction party game in which players try to uncover the lone weasel mingling among the ferrets. The unique feature of this game is that no one knows who they are, not even the lone weasel. Everyone has a card with a hidden word. All players have the exact same word except one player, the weasel. To ferret out the weasel, every player provides a clue to their word. The goal is to read all the clues and determine which player gave a clue that does not match the others. Players earn points for correctly identifying the weasel, but weasels are clever critters. So all players must be careful when providing clues to their hidden word, because if the weasel can deduce the ferret's hidden word, the weasel will earn points. There is not one bit of the description that I do not like. And Stephen Waffle says, I picked this up because my son has 2 ferrets. That's fair, and it seemed fitting. A cute little game that will have you laughing. Can you be generic enough with your clue so that it will fit in with any topic, in case you're the weasel? And what's better than having a CFO, a Chief Ferret Officer of the round? Again, Ferret Out feels like a bit of a classic game that's been remade. There's lots of other games that kind of do this thing where one person is not in on the information and everybody else has to guess which of the people is that person who's not in on the information. And frankly, they're always quite fun. And with a nice theme on it, some nice art, ferrets, weasels, that's enough to get me to play this. The looking glass has shattered. Madness is being drained from its inhabitants and war has come to Wonderland. Oh dear. Alice, Mad Hatter, Red Queen, Jabberwock and Cheshire Cat must gather all that they can while playing nice at the Hatter's Tea Party before going to battle. I remember the book very differently, but here we are. In Wonderland's War, 2 to 5 players take on the role of a faction leader who has been invited to the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, drinking tea and eating cake as you move around the table drafting cards to gather your forces, build your towers, upgrade your leader, and recruit Wonderlandians to your cause. Is that really what they... But one must be very careful as shards of the Looking Glass are spread throughout Wonderland. Once all the plates are empty, the tea party's over, and war begins. Oh dear. Players use the forces they have gathered to battle their enemies in familiar locations, which makes it fine, but make sure not to draw their madness chips or their supporters will abandon your cause and you will be out of the fight. Timothy W says, at TotalCon, I made some new gaming friends over a game of Wonderland's War. Just goes to show you that board games can forge friendships under any circumstances, including conflicts to the death, that also gradually drive the combatants to insanity. Wonderland's War comes in a very, very large box, which honestly was enough to put me off, but I just keep on hearing good things about it. My friends Nick and Mike from the Brothers Murph YouTube channel, and This Game's Broken podcast, which is a podcast that I do. It's a board game comedy panel show. Anyway, they just keep on saying it's fantastic, and I watched a bunch of videos on this, and as I was watching, I thought, yeah, that looks fun. Oh, I like that. That bit looks fun, gathering all your cards and doing that bit. That looks fun. And then you move out and you've kind of got an area majority kind of area control situation going on in all the different areas that you're fighting over. That looks fun. And you get to pull chips out your bag and hopefully not pull the... That looks fun. And everything you do is boosting up your player board and you get more stronger in all these different areas. That looks fun. I should just play this, I guess, is where I landed at the end. I need to just try this. Wonderland's War is a game that I've been putting off trying, but I think I need to play it now. Roll your meeple, build your city. Doesn't make any sense, does it? But it is the tagline for the next game our viewers have been playing, where it's the 1920s, and your career as a general contractor is about to take off. Very exciting indeed, as you've just started your business in this rapidly expanding city, all right? And in Rolling Heights, 1 to 4 players roll their workers in the form of meeples. Standing meeples work hard that day, provide special actions and building materials, while face-down meeples provide nothing, because they're face down. You can always push your luck for better rolls, but you might lose valuable materials you need to construct the buildings you're actually trying to complete, because completed buildings gain you prestige, as well as new workers to help you construct even larger buildings, including skyscrapers. Supreme D says that I love the uniqueness of rolling meeples rather than dice, as well as the sheer amount of build options to customize your perfect city. The game is also quite a looker with its plastic pieces in a variety of colors. Rolling Heights was a game that not only was I excited about, I actually managed to play, which was good. I played it, and that's always a victory in my book, I tell you. There's a game out and you played it? You betcha. And you roll your meeple. And you get very angry at your meeple because they don't roll well because they're meeple. And they are like wider than regular meeple. It does really work very well, but you just go, oh, come on. Why aren't you working right? And you push your luck and you end up with nothing. And everyone else has done loads of stuff and they're building skyscrapers and you know it's your fault. You shouldn't have pushed your luck so far. What were you thinking? Is what everyone said to me. And the game does have incredible table presence because you're building up these huge skyscrapers and you're trying to get around the board, build these buildings, are going to get you a bunch of points. It does a lot of city building, tile placement, building things that I enjoy in games. And it does it in an innovative way. Rolling Heights, it was a real hit when I played it, so that's all I can say on that. And finally, picked by multiple viewers this month, is the 2 to 4 player Kutnahora. Join other ambitious guild leaders in mining and developing the famous city of silver during its period of rapid economic growth and expansion in the 14th century. Excited yet? You will be! For the first discovery of silver near the Cistercian mountains to the construction of Kutnahora, which quickly became one of the most important cities in Central Europe. The game features a real-life supply and demand experience. Well, it's a game, so it's not real life, but you know what I mean, in which every action you have has an impact on the game's dynamic economic systems. In each round, players take turns selecting actions from a hand of double-sided cards to engage strategic plans like mining, purchasing plots of land onto which to build, gaining permits, raising buildings for either their affiliate guilds, gaining profits from the production, and of course, working towards the construction of St. Barbara's Cathedral itself, which we all know and love. The asymmetrical nature of each player's available guild makes for interactive rounds as you mine ore and smelt it into a fortune of silver, the expansion of this beautiful historic city. Kenneth K says that I recently acquired Kutnohora. This is a very interesting game with an analog device for controlling stock market prices. I love how this is not an app or some crazy list of tables with prices on them. You just pull the top card and the next card has a new prices. And Luke P says that I'd replayed this fantastic economic game at Aircon and was blown away by how smoothly the game ran, particularly with new players to the game and with breaks for chit chat. I watched that game being played, Luke. I saw it with my own eyes, and Paula came second, and she did turn to me at one point and say, I think I might win this. And she came darn close. And that's the thing that makes me excited about maybe trying this game. Everyone just seemed to be really enjoying this. That it just looks like a heavy economic euro, and everyone was just like, man, this is fun. I do think that the box cover does the game a disservice. I'll say it. Who's gonna stop me? You? You don't know where I live. Because the box cover is like, it's black with a thing white, like a coin, some silver, I guess, on the front. And I haven't looked at it too closely because it looks not fantastic. But the actual game on the table, I was like, what game is it? It's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen on the table. All the artwork and the dark and the buildings are brightly coloured on the dark background. It's absolutely gorgeous. It really is so much more beautiful on the inside of the game than on the outside of the box. And I just know all my friends are liking this game, so it's one of those I'm going to have to learn eventually, just because it's going to come up. People want to play it. So yeah, I need to learn Kutnohora. Maybe I should go there and play Kutnohora at Kutnohora in the cathedral, Barbara's Cathedral, which I now know. And that's a sampling of what our viewers have been playing this month. To join the discussion for the next episode, follow the link in the description to our Patreon to find out how to pick games featured in the People's Choice. And to see the games on our own personal radars, continue on to this month's On the Radar episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you over there. Bye.